Welcome to Monique Jordan's channel. Please like, share, and/or subscribe for more videos.
So sit back, relax, kick your feet up, and most of all enjoy. Much love.
Being depressed means feeling downhearted or dejected. These definitions are very important in realistically understanding the term depression, as there can be no experience of depression without dejection, or even feelings of repression and suppression. Accepted medical science distinguishes between endogenous, inner, and possibly unrecognizable, genetic causes, and acquired causes, physical diseases, personal loss, conflicts, crises, failures, or humiliations. However, it can be argued that medical science overlooks the fact that there is a dejection factor at the beginning of, or before, every case of depression. Such a state can arise from many circumstances, but the most common tend to be as follows: general social, family, and personal situations, loss of job, problems with personal relationships, separation, loss, etc. This dejection factor is often ignored, as depression does not normally develop spontaneously, rather it emerges gradually. Thus, the original cause may often lie far in one's past. Sometimes, depression can be triggered or activated again when experiencing a situation or meeting a person similar to those in the original, causal situation. This leads to the totally wrong conclusion that a feeling of depression has developed without a recognizable cause. When this happens to us, the worst thing about is that such a diagnosis aggravates the affected person's feelings of hopelessness and impotence. Further, in today's professional, so-called, therapy treatment with its tranquilizing psychoactive drugs, everything is intensified once more. This can indeed be a truly vicious circle. Real help can only be given for depression by discovering the dejection factor and finding an appropriate solution, either by learning to live with it, or by liberating oneself from it. During this process, some outside therapeutic help is usually necessary, as the depression itself impairs our ability to think clearly and to solve our own problems. However, any depression can be cured using therapy without the involvement of any psychoactive drugs, given the therapist's knowledge of depression. There is always the proviso, of course, that one displays the necessary openness needed in order to throw light on all aspects of one's life. Then, together with the skill of the therapist, the dejection factors can be identified. Crystals can be of help precisely at this juncture, as they encourage openness, the ability to think, create the right mood, the ability to confront unpleasant things, and the willingness to work on oneself. Rather like taking a walk in sunlight, or using St. John's wort preparations, but please notice that St. John's wort makes the skin hypersensitive to sunlight. The following crystals do not replace the essential therapy needed for depression, but make it easier to go through the process. Amazonite helps with severe despondency and feelings of impotence, especially if one feels a victim of some overwhelming fate. It encourages a healthy belief in life and stimulates the concept of taking one's fate in one's own hands. Citron helps against depression caused by overwhelming outside influences, and whenever there are feelings of having had enough of everything, dumortierite makes it easier to cope with depressive situations. It is especially important, however, for helping one to talk about the feelings of depression and its causes. This makes it one of the most important crystals to accompany any form of therapy. Opal brings joie de vivre in hopeless circumstances, and, in particular, when any kind of physical or mental activity seems incredibly difficult, totally meaningless and joyless. It brings hope and motivates us to take care of oneself and one's life. Rutile quartz helps one to be open to any helpful influences from outside during a depression. It lifts the spirits and makes us ready to talk and admit fear and weaknesses, things that are usually kept strictly under wraps. Quite simply, rutile quartz is a sunbeam in the midst of deepest hopelessness. Golden topaz helps with all depression, no matter what the cause. It strengthens self-confidence and the ability to express oneself. It also enables you to regain control of those parts of life that you might believe are lost. It helps with living one's own life and sticking to one's own ideas, wishes, and ideals. Wear the above crystals on the body for long periods, in particular on the solar plexus. Necklaces, pendants, tumbled stones with a hole bored through them, and ornamental crystals are all suitable. Gem Essence, 5 to 7 drops, 3 times daily, or Gem Water, 200 to 300 milliliters, taken in sips during the course of the day.
Thanks for watching this video. I hope you come back soon. So till the next time, much love.